Rebel Ridge, 2024. It begins with Pilon Aaron Eckhart, a burned-out former federal agent, driving through the misty, wooded backroads of Kentucky. His face is weary, haunted by years in law enforcement. He's lost at home and adrift in purpose. A cryptic phone call pulls him back into service. A troubled asset has gone missing in the hollers, with rumors of corruption reaching deep into state and federal politics. Pilon, reluctant but restless, accepts the mission. He parks outside a derelict church, flashlight in hand, sensing something more than a simple rescue. Shadows stir as he takes his first steps into Rebel Ridge. Pilon meets Annie, Mel Gibson, a local deputy with sharp eyes and hardened resolve. She's watched her community decay under the weight of drug trafficking and exploitative logging interests. With distrust of outsiders, Annie challenges Pilon's motives, but an uneasy alliance forms when they uncover clues pointing to John Tyrese Gibson, a missing activist fighting against corporate land grabs. Villagers whisper about firelit meetings, and Pilon senses the mission's complexity: personal, political, and profoundly local. The sun drips behind pines as they follow a blood-spattered trail to an abandoned mill, where truth and danger bleed into one. At the mill, Pilon and Annie find evidence of a brutal struggle. John's jacket shredded, footprints in clay, and scrawled messages warning of betrayal. Pilon studies every scratch and smear, memory flickering between past operations and present truths. Rumors point toward Senator Dawes, upcoming politician, who publicly champions rural revitalization while allegedly profiting from land seizures. Pilon's instincts scream deception. Annie, torn between official channels and vigilante justice, insists they go deeper. That night, whispers echo from hollowed silos, and Pilon dreams of fires he'd rather forget. In the morning, they confront Prospect, a mercenary with cold eyes and whispered threats. Prospect's warnings are veiled threats. He claims federal immunity and offers Pilon a choice: walk away or disappear. Pilon refuses, anger burning quietly, like tinder in winter. Annie demands accountability. Her fury is righteous, fueled by years of watching outsiders talk but never act. Together, they piece together John's last movements: meetings with Appalachian coal miners resisting displacement, confrontations at town halls, and a final rendezvous with a whistleblower who may hold damning evidence. A violent thunderstorm breaks as they leave, lightning carving the sky. Pilon drives through sheets of rain, haunted by the thought that the missing man's cause may be bigger than any of them imagined. In Lexington, Pilon digs through bureaucratic archives while Annie presses local contacts. They learn of off-the-books payments, shell corporations, and phantom environmental assessments rubber-stamped by Dawes aides. Pilon hands Annie a stack of incriminating documents. She studies them, eyes hard with resolve. Night falls and Pilon phones an old colleague for backup, only to be blindsided when his contact refuses. Either compromised or afraid, the colleague's words echo Pilon's deepest fear. This goes all the way up. Retreat isn't an option. With evidence in hand but allies few, they plan a bold confrontation at a public rally where Dawes is set to speak. At the rally, crisp flags wave, cameras flash, and Pilon watches from the perimeter. Dawes smiles for photos while an entourage whispers promises of development and prosperity. Annie slips through the crowd and hacks the public address system. Pilon's voice cracks with intensity as he broadcasts documented corruption to every phone in attendance. Chaos erupts. Security tries to seize them. Townspeople shout, torn between denial and awakening. John's face suddenly appears on screens, alive, defiant, holding his own recording of land takeover negotiations. Pilon feels a surge of hope and dread. Victory tastes bitter and the cost is ever present. As the rally fractures, Dawes guards open fire. Pilon dives for cover beside Annie, bullets chipping concrete and screaming past. Civilians scatter. John yells for calm. Pilon keeps low, covering Annie as she films the violence unfolding. In the frenzy, Pilon hears an old tactic whispered by fear: survival over sacrifice. But the fury of betrayed citizens gives way to a tidal wave of resistance. Miners and townsfolk push back, using whatever they have. Pilon peeks over a barricade, recognizing the spark of collective resolve. The confrontation is no longer his alone. A community rallies behind truth, igniting a feral courage in the hollers. When dust settles, many are wounded, But Dawes flees in a flurry of black SUVs, sirens wailing behind him. Pilon limps with Annie toward John, who collapses to his knees, exhausted but triumphant. Pilon hands John the evidence and offers a simple truth. The world sees what you stand for now. Annie helps John to his feet, steady despite pain. The community gathers in the clearing, a spontaneous circle of resolve. Pilon feels strangely distant, like a ghost tethered to unfinished business. His face is bruised, his shirt torn, but his eyes reflect a fire long thought dead. With national attention now on the corruption scandal, demand for accountability surges. Dawes is pursued through legal channels, his allies scramble. John's cause becomes a movement. Appalachia's forests and people draw the gaze of reformers. Pilon and Annie walk the backroads once more, followed by reporters' distant chatter and hopeful whispers. Pilon's phone rings, another assignment. He hesitates, remembering the ridge where it all began. Annie watches, steady as ever, offering a nod that suggests both faith and acceptance. Pilon places his phone away, eyes on the horizon where pine trees blur into dawn. In closing, Pilon turns to Annie and John, offering a weary smile. They've reclaimed their home, unmasked corruption, and sparked a fight for justice bigger than themselves. Pilon knows peace is fleeting, but purpose, once lost, can return in fierce, unexpected ways. Tonight, they celebrate with a small crowd around a fire, voices singing, laughter echoing through Rebel Ridge. Pilon listens, heart steady, the weight of his past loosened by belonging. When the fire dies to embers, Pilon stands alone for a moment, watching stars reflected in dark water. A quiet promise of tomorrow.